What is going on, guys and girls? Today is day 662 of my summer journey. So today I'm going to talk about the books that I read in September. It's finally October. The spooky season has officially begun, and that means September is over. So I read 3 books in September. Technically, I only read like 2 full books, and then the first book that I read, I finished on September 3rd, but it took me like 9 months to read it, and you might be able to guess what that book is. It is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This book is a brick. It's huge, a whopping over 1,200 pages, 1,252 exactly. It is very thick, but it is also very good. It's a very good book. It's an epic fantasy. It's mainly about a kid, Kathleen, who goes from, he's trying to be a surgeon, but he also wants to be a soldier, and he doesn't know what to do, and then he gets he basically drafts himself into the war. His younger brother gets drafted into the war, and then Kathleen purposefully puts himself in the war as well, for his brother, and then his brother ends up dying, and stuff. You figure that out, so it's not like spoiling too much, I would say. A little bit of spoiling, but it's not that bad. And basically he becomes great, and then there's also a couple other characters that you follow. Shalon, which is like a girl who wants to steal something. I don't know how to explain this. Like a thing that will, it basically creates things, and it'll help her with her family because her dad died, and he was an important person, and he gave a bunch of money or something to other people and whatnot. And so since he's dead, her family is kind of screwed. But then also Dalinar, a warlord who is trying to unite all of the kingdoms of this place called Alethkar. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's a very big book. It's a very good book. I'll say that. It definitely is long though, and it's definitely slow. It's it's not fast paced, like the other 2 books I would say that I'll be showing here. But I definitely recommend it. I'd probably give it 4.5 out of 5, or actually no, I'm gonna say 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 stars. This was a good book, but it definitely felt like it dragged a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. During the middle, it didn't really pick up until the last 200 or so pages, I would say. But other than that, definitely recommend this book if you have the time and the energy. So yeah, and if you're a slow reader like me, it'll probably take a little bit, but if you're a fast reader, you can definitely finish this quicker than 9 months. The next book I read in September was Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow, or Glasgow, or however you pronounce that last name. This was a very good book as well. It is about a person who self-harms. Charlie Davis is the main character, and she starts off in this center place where she this treatment center, and then she goes off into the real world about 100 pages in or something like that. Her mother abandons her again, gives her money, and she goes off with this. She stays at an apartment at a kid named Mikey, who she has history with and whatnot. And she has a bad history with a bunch of odd people. She stayed in a house where the only way to stay in there during the winter, she lived in Minnesota, cold winters. The only way she could stay in that house instead of outside was so she cut herself, and the climax is very good. The climax, the last 100 pages, and like flipping through, it's very fast paced. Chapters are short. Reading it's pretty easy. It's like YA, so definitely a lot easier of a read than The Way of Kings, that's for sure. I highly recommend this. I would say 4.5 out of 5. I really like this book, and there's also a little romance in it. Yeah, I definitely recommend this book as well. Let's see, I'm going to recommend all these books because I think they're all pretty good. And then the last book that I read in September was The Shining, and this is The Shining by Stephen King. I started this for the spooky season. Obviously, technically doesn't start until today now, but The Shining by Stephen King is a classic. His third book that he ever published. I don't know if it's the third book he wrote, but I know it's the third book he published, which is just crazy that his third book is such an ultra wide, international phenomenon, basically. But it is about this guy, Jack Torrance, and his family. They move to Colorado, and they have to take care of the Overlook, which is a hotel, during the winter. They're going to be the new caretakers, and Jack, he has an addiction to alcohol, but he's been clean for a year. And the hotel kind of has like these voices, and there's something about this hotel that it really, gets in their minds and stuff, and the isolation, because there's nobody else during the winter. It's just them, the three. Wendy is the wife, and then Danny, a 5-year-old boy. He has a special power called the Shine, hence the Shining. Is his power, and it's kind of he can basically read people's minds. It's really cool, really good book. It's a little bit slower than Girl in Pieces, but it's definitely not as slow as The Way of Kings. And the climax lasts like 100 pages. Very good, very, very good. And there's also a sequel, which is Dr. Sleep. And it's basically about Danny, the son, when he's old. It's kind of like, father like son. Yeah, I'll have to read Dr. Sleep eventually, but Stephen, this is a very good book. I would rate this book probably a 4.5 out. I don't know. I think I might do. I feel like honestly all of them are about a 4 out of 5. I think I'll change my Girl in Pieces. I'll say this is a 4 out of 5. This is a 4 out of 5. I think they're all solid 4 out of 5s. All 3 of the books that I read this September 2024. It's not a crazy amount of books, compared to like some people like reading like 10 books a month or something. But I'm happy with what I read this month. My to be read for October, Pet Sematary. I'm almost halfway done with the book. Very good book so far. Back in like November of last year or December, I forgot which month it was. I read to page 100, but I'm now further than that. I'm on page like 140 now. Very good book so far. It's starting to get good. And then my plan after that is to read Misery for the spooky season. Gotta keep that up, for October by Stephen King. Yeah, and then there's one more book. Let me grab it quick. I don't know if I will end up getting to this. I mean, it would be nice if I got to this book. I don't know if I will, but The Long Walk by Stephen King. Another Stephen King. Very small book, very short. There's not that many words on these pages. It's very small. You can I don't know if you can really tell how small that is, but here's like the normal book size, and you can kind of tell that it's pretty small. Yeah, it's like you can probably fit this in your pocket. It's still about 400 pages, or like almost 400, just under, but it is barely any words on a page, so, and the spacing, it's not too bad. I don't know if I'll get to this because Pet Sematary and Misery might take up most of October. If I could, that'd be great. So yeah. And then November, I'm gonna read Words of Radiance, which is the second book. Can grab that 1 second. Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. It's another thick book. I'll try and read this in November and December, so won't be as much reading. Well, there will be, but won't be as many books completed in those 2 months. So yeah. Anyways, that is it for today, day 662 my self-improvement journey. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yeah, anyways, that is it for today. I hope you guys have a great day, and don't forget to follow your dreams. Goodbye.